So when I first started flying drones, which was 2013, when the first DJI Phantom arrived, it had no camera on it as such. You had your own GoPro or whatever. I couldn't afford a transmission for live feed or anything like that, so basically I just flew it by eye. And you know, when you fly low to water, the earlier drones definitely did not like it. They couldn't work out using their downward sensors and things like that. Um, They just didn't realise the water was there, I don't think. I can't remember if the Phantom had any proximity sensors at all, but later ones obviously did. Even the Air 2 that I had later on, and the Mini 1, all suffered from it. And, when you're flying over water, it's obviously quite an iffy space because you're not necessarily going to get the thing back if it falls out the sky, or if it decides it's trying to go down into infinity, which it kind of probably thinks it is. So what I always tend to do, this is a bit of a tip, if it's something you do, I always take off on higher ground. Where I took off was actually on the one of the dam walls there on the left hand side. I was just going out of shot, but I was about 3 meters above the actual water level. So when I took off, my height level was 0. So I know that when I'm flying along, as obviously I can see the drone, but it helps you can keep an eye on it very easily. If that is at 0, I know I'm 3 meters above the water. So obviously if I go -1, -2, and then I'm pushing it, it may go in. But as long as I stay within 0 or above, I'm obviously very safe. You just hope that the drone doesn't have a malfunction or an issue, or you hit something or something ending up going plop. But at the same time, you do take risks sometimes to get the shot, and it's one of those things. Sometimes it's worth a go, because as creators and artists or whatever, we just love the fact that we can capture something a little bit different. Here I'm coming right down to the low point here, so I'm actually in 2 meters above the water, and I'm not going any closer. It's quite close, and you just don't want to risk it. There's also wildlife around, so I didn't want to spook too many birds. There's a few geese and other ducks and things over on the water's edge to the banks over to the right hand side there, so I stayed well away from them. But as you can see, it was so worth it. The reflection was incredible. I was going to go to Bodiam Castle, but they shut the road, so I couldn't get there. And I thought, let's go Buell Water. So Buell Water at the moment is low level because obviously we're having not much rain, so the water is lower than it would be a lot of the time of the year. But the weather was bang on. The clouds were moody but colourful, and it just looked awesome. But yeah, obviously taking into consideration my height where I took off, and just being safe, and not really wanting to crash into the water, so always a bit careful. As you can see there, the ripples, you can just about see me moving across. I'm 2 meters above that, and then I lift up to get a better view, and also to make sure that I can still see the drone as I'm going around the trees around the corner, and to make sure I've got a strong signal. There's some wildlife down there. And then I did a few runs backwards and forwards, but it was kind of cool. And then took the shorter route over the trees, which is a little bit safer, obviously. Unless it lands in a tree, then it's a pain in the bum. But I just thought it's something that's worth talking about. How have you ever crashed yours into the water? Have you lost a drone in a lake or the sea? I remember, I can't remember which drone it was. It must have been the Air 2. Was trying to descend into the sea, when I got it a little bit too low. I was about a meter above, and I just remember it trying to go down, trying to go down. I was like, no, 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 power up, power up. So they've got a lot better, um, nowadays, and don't really have any issues with it. But it's always just about being safe. And actually, the fact is that things can happen out of your control, and just having that knowledge of where your drone is all the time, and you know you're not going to lose it or crash it. And my old saying is, fly the drone like you're in it. If you're in it, you wouldn't want to crash it. So if you think like that, that's hopefully going to give you a safe flight. Anyway, take care, and please click the subscribe button, the notification bell as well, and I'll see you soon for another video.